Okay, y'all. So I am so ready to go ahead and get right in. But for those of you who are new to this channel, may have not seen my other videos, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Kasey King. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist. I am a relationship coach, author, speaker, Navy veteran, all of those good things. So thank you for being here if it is your first time. Today we are going to talk about open marriages. I know it is such a taboo topic, makes some people uncomfortable. They don't really want to have that conversation, or they may simply believe that that's not right. You know, when you're with one person, you should be with one person, and that should be enough for you. A lot of people feel that way, and you know what? That's okay. It's okay if you feel that way, but what's not okay is if you judge someone else's marriage based on what you feel it should be. And also, if you're new, I always have my coffee. So let's talk about open marriages. I know some people may confuse that with a polyamorous relationship. And some of the context is the same. One key difference, though, because I don't want to go into a full on thing about it. One of the key differences with an open marriage and a polyamorous marriage is the core. When you look at an open marriage versus a polyamorous marriage or a polyamorous relationship, in a polyamorous relationship, there is really no core. Everybody is equal. We all have equal parts and roles. There's no duo that really has seniority over another. Whereas when you look at an open marriage, that main couple, the couple who originated it, who are together before they decide to open it up, that is the core. That is the nucleus. There is, like, the hierarchy is, hey, it's us, and then it's everybody else. So that's one of your key differences. Of course, there are some others, but that's the main one. So what we're going to get into, is it needed? Why do people desire to have this type of relationship? Can it work? What are the risks? And all of that. So what makes it a desirable situation to be in? And I'll tell you why. So a few reasons. You ever heard of the 80-20 rule? One of my favorite movies is Why Did I Get Married? And they talk at the end about the 80-20 rule. And the consensus of the 80-20 rule is that no one person is going to fulfill all of your needs. No one person is going to fulfill all of your needs, but you can pretty much guarantee that they will fulfill 80% of your needs. So not all, but the majority of your needs can be filled by that one partner. So that may leave a piece of you that is broken. That may leave a piece of you that is, I'm not going to say broken, maybe unfulfilled and unpleased or untended to. And so versus breaking up because it's that small piece that's not getting what he, she, they desire, hey, let's open this thing up and maybe I can get that fulfilled elsewhere, because it may not have anything to do with you, my core partner, but there are some pieces of me that you possibly just cannot feel. And that's okay. That's completely normal. I always say never expect one person to fulfill all of your needs. It's not possible. It's such a hard responsibility. It's such a stressor to expect your partner to fulfill every need, desire, want that you may have. That is very hard shoes to fill. So oftentimes people may have the agreement, couples may have the agreement, hey, let's open it up and maybe we can seek someone to fulfill those other things. Or maybe they're just missing things in us together, because there are different ways that you can open up your marriage. You both can seek out other partners. You can swing. Many couples swing and prefer it that way, and and do it together. So there are different ways that you can open it up. So another one, and I think this is the reason why many people believe that couples open their marriage. Another reason maybe is to prevent infidelity. And there is this consensus or understanding, mainly amongst women, that all men cheat, or that at some point he's just gonna cheat anyway. So, in order to prevent that or stress or get myself super anxious over that, hey, let's just have an agreement surrounding our relationship to open our marriage so there is no deceit. So, we don't have to skirt around each other. So, we don't have to go and deceive each other. Let's open our marriage up, for these possibilities, for these other types of relationships. Because again, remember that the couple in the open marriage versus polyamorous, the couple in the open marriage, we are the core. So it's an understanding that, hey, we are going to always be together. We are the ones that are dedicated, to each other. So, but still, to prevent these things from happening or be deceived or we're going behind each other's backs, let's just open it up. And I'll talk later about, kind of what that consists of and how they may make it work. And another reason maybe just to spice it up a little bit. You ever get bored in your marriage? I think to be married for a long time and to say that it has been a thrilling ride, an amazing relationship the whole entire time is such a lie. It's a lie. There will be points where you're not fulfilled, especially when you have kids and you get busy and you have work and you have businesses. There will be times that, hey, we kind of get lost. We're not tending to our spouses. We're putting our kids first. We're putting work first because money has to be made because we have to eat. And depending on your industry, there's a lot of stress possibly in what you do or long nights and things like that. So you may want to do something different at some point to spice it up because what you're doing is not working. So there are several reasons. I only gave you a few, but there are several reasons why people or married couples decide to open their marriage. And to be honest, one honorable mention is that because couples decide to have a traditional marriage does not mean they necessarily prescribe to a quote unquote traditional, or what many therapists may say is a nuclear marriage. Because we, agree to dedicate ourselves to one another does not mean that that has to be the way that it is. So non-traditional marriages, are a thing. And again, that's okay if that's what works for that particular marriage. And I can say many people think that this is just a new thing or not that many couples do it. You look at the research and you may be, kind of sadly mistaken. About 9-10% of couples prescribe to these type of relationships. And it may not seem like a lot, but when you look at one or two out of every 24, 25 couples, that can be a lot. So many couples do prescribe to the non-traditional ways of marriage. I'm sorry, y'all. Something just keeps, I think it's a lash or something keeps flicking me. So it can Yeah, so there are different types of ways that, couples go about it and different types of reasons why they do this as well. Can this thing work? Absolutely. Can it work? Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you why it can work. It can work if you are on the same page. If you both are on the same page as to why we are going into this in the first place. What is your why? Why do we feel that we need it? What is it going to do for our marriage? What is it going to do for us individually? And what happens if we get to a place where we want to stop? And I'm going to talk about that, here in a little bit, but it definitely can work. So again, if you know your why, number one. Number two, if you have rules, roles, clear boundaries, clear boundaries set in place, this type of relationship can absolutely work. I remember years and years back, people gave the comedian Monique, a lot of flack for saying that she had an open marriage. And many people would tease and say because she's given her husband permission to cheat and all of these things. And this constantly went to what she's allowing her husband to do. And when you look at it, I'm a big research girl, so I go read and research a lot. But as a woman, we know that women cheat too. Women seek fulfillment in other areas too. They seek, other ways of being fulfilled or desired to. Look at Aisha Curry, for example. Speaking of being desired, she admitted about a year or two ago that she loves to receive attention from other men, and she received slack, a lot of flack, not slack, a lot of flack for that in her comment. So creating that open marriage is not just for men, it's for women as well. And when it comes to different types of marriages like swinging, that's mostly that of the woman versus the man, because the woman is more so wanting to do things together, and the men just want to, hey, almost kind of explore it separately. So they both have their level of desirability, and it's not about just, hey, I'm going to allow the man to cheat. So it can be mutually beneficial. And when you open up a marriage like that, it should be mutually beneficial. So understanding your why, again, having those roles, those rules, and those boundaries in place is what will make this type of relationship work. And lastly, you want to be sure that your foundation is solid, because we're going to go into why they may not work for you and why they don't work for a lot of people. Over 80% of open marriages fail. So I don't like to speak into the negative. I couldn't find another word maybe other than fail. They don't work. They don't work for over 80% of couples. And when I say that you want to ensure that your marriage is solid, that's probably the number one reason why they don't work, or why many couples have failed trying to navigate in this space. When your why is not clear, when you're doing it so you won't cheat, when you're doing it when your marriage is already on a downward spiral, opening it up is not going to work. It's like drinking spoiled milk. Like, that it's spoiled. And if you drink the spoiled milk, then you're probably going to get sick. Is that a good analogy? But something like that. So if we are already in a turbulent place, if we are already in a dysfunctional place and decide that that is the solution to our problem, I can almost guarantee you that 8 out of 10 times this will not work for your relationship. Because what happens? We're already disconnected. So adding more partners on one side or on both sides further disconnects us. Because now we're not tuning in and try to make work what we have. We're trying to make something work with other people and still figure out what we have. So a lot of times you go into that type of relationship and your marriage is already kind of shaky. Oh, it's really going to rumble. It's really going to rumble because now your focus is not going to be on your marriage. It may not be on that. It may be on, hey, this other person, this is amazing. It feels really new. It feels good. I feel love. The sex is amazing. I don't want to deal with that and it's already crap. So let's just kind of stay over here. I don't need this. So if you go into it and you're already in such a rocky place, it won't work for you. Another reason, jealousy. The old jealousy. So if you already have insecurities in yourself, you have insecurities in your marriage, that trust is broken. Oh, that jealousy she's going to show up. She is going to show up and it's not going to be great. It is not going to work at all. And that just goes back to where the both of you are and how do you feel about yourself. Because oftentimes with jealousy is two things. One, it's an internal thing, something that you're dealing with and have always dealt with, or may feel a certain type of way about yourself that you may not like or love or want to improve on. Or two, there was some type of breakdown in your marriage where the trust was broken. So when you have broken trust, you have anxiety, you have insecurity. So if you open up your marriage and you have all of those things, fighting against you, it's a high chance that it may not work for you. And research shows that it only works about 20% of couples because you want to ensure that you are in a healthy place. So can it work for you? Yes, it can work. If you're not in a healthy place and your rules are not in place, what is our responsibility to each other as the nucleus, as the team? What is our responsibility to each other? What rules are we going to, set in place about conversation, about our partners, about boundaries, where they can come in the home, or we're meeting somewhere? Are we communicating with each other that, hey, I'm going to go out. Do you not want to know about it? If we're not engaging, we don't want to talk to that other person without our partner knowing. So you have to be clear and on the same page and constantly, check in with each other or whatever rules that you both create and that you agree to. Because I'm going to tell you something. For those that engage in it and it's been successful for them, they say it's improved their partnership as the nucleus. The sex is better. The stress is down. They feel they can communicate with more ease. And it's pleasant. So you want to look and see where you are. Where are you in your marriage? Why do you want to open it up? And how would your partner, feel about that? And what rules do we need to have in place so we can ensure that this thing is successful? And one thing you want to consider, if either one of us want to bow out, what does that look like if the other one says, hey, I'm not ready? So that is something to consider too. So it can be very challenging, but it also can work. So that is the nitty gritty on open marriages. I hope you found this information educational. I hope that you learned something here. And let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if this is something that maybe has crossed your mind, has worked for you, if you have not tried it and are thinking about trying it, or I say we tried it and it was absolutely it didn't work. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you have anything else to add that I may not have brought up, hey, comment below and let me know. But if you have any questions for me, if you want to connect with me, email me info@ksalone.com, KSALONE.com. And until then, I will see you all next time. Peace.